Today we are going to work on finding slope when given a line. There are many different ways to find slope. This is one of the ways. Let's take a look at number 1. We're lucky because they've already supplied us with 2 dots, one here and one here. Had they not, we would travel along our line and look for a point where they cross at the intersection. You see how this point right here crosses between this crosshair and this crosshair? Those would be what you were looking for. Luckily, we don't need to look at that because they've given us our 2 points. So I need to draw my slope triangle, which means I draw my vertical line up, my horizontal line over. And then I count. I have 1 unit, 2 unit. So my up and down is 2. How far did I have to go left to right? There's 1, 2, 3. So my left to right is 3. Now we write slope as rise over run, which means you're going to go up and down over the left to right. So my top number for number 1 will be a 2 and my bottom number a 3. Now we learned yesterday how to tell if the line was positive or negative. This is a positive line. So I leave it as it is. I would look to see if I needed to reduce. Luckily I do not, so I move on to number 2. And I do the same thing again. I draw from this dot over and then from this dot up. Counting 1, 2, 3. Counting 1, 2, 3. So my number going up and down is a 3. Counting 1, 2. So my left to right is a 2, which means when I write my fraction, my up and down on top, so 3, my left to right on the bottom, so 2. Do I change it to a mixed number? No, I do not. I leave it as the improper fraction it is. This will come in handy. Do not change them to decimals. Do not change them to mixed numbers. Trust me on this one. Let's do number 3. Draw my line over. Draw my line up. You notice how it's not exactly on the line, but it's close? Do not create your new lines, or your own lines, I should say. Utilize the ones that they provide you. So I draw my line over, up. Okay, so now I count. I went up 1, 2, 3 spots. So my up and down has to be 3. I went over 1, 2, 3 spots. So my slope is looking like 3 over 3, which reduces to 1. Remember the math button in your calculator? If you're unsure on how to reduce things, utilize it. You hit the math button, highlight number 1, it's FRAC, stands for fraction, and hit enter twice, and it will reduce it for you. Number 4, I do the same thing. I go from that dot up, from this dot over, and I count up to where they cross. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So my up and down is a 4. I go over 1, 2, 3. So my left to right is a 3. So my slope is a 4 over 3. Now am I a positive line or a negative line? It's a positive line. Oh, we made a boo-boo. Look at number 2. Is number 2 a positive or negative line? It's a negative line, so I needed that negative out there. Number 3, it's a negative line, so it's a negative 1. Easy fix. let's go on to number 5. It's a positive line, so I know I don't have to worry about the negatives. I draw my little triangle, and then I count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm up 5, count. 1, 2, over 2. So my slope is a 5 over 2. Number 6. I hope you're getting the hang of this. Draw my triangle, and then I count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Negative, because remember, this is a negative slope. It looks like that. That makes it a negative slope. So I have negative 5 over 3. It does not matter where you put the negative. You can put the negative up by the 5. You can put the negative down by the 3. You can put the negative in the middle. As long as one of them is negative, that's what counts. We got 3 more to go through. Draw my triangle. Start counting. 1, 2, 3. So my up and down is 3. Start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. My left to right is 4. My line is negative, so I have negative 3 over 4. Look at number 8. I count up 1, I count over 2, and it's a positive line, so my slope is 1/2. And last but not least, I hope if you have any questions at this point, you come see me. I draw my line, I draw my line up, and then I start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So my slope is a 5/4. Any questions at this point, you need to come ask. Otherwise, I will assume we're good and you're ready for your assignment today. Keep in mind, rise over run. So you're up and down over your left to right.